Pro Tips!
Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Pro Tips. Before we begin, do you want to become a better coffee roaster? Because if you do, we have a masterclass alert! Ben Tuvey, Australian roasting champion and world number 4, is coming to town and hosting a masterclass. There are 2 class formats. First, a 3-hour group session where he will be going through some advanced roasting theories, and secondly, a private one-on-one coaching session where he will work with you personally to create the perfect roast profile for your coffee. Classes happen between 9th to 13th October. Tickets and more information are available in the link below. Don't miss this opportunity to learn from one of the best in the industry. You're not going to come across this chance again. Okay? So now on to Pro Tips. This week we're going to talk about how to roast frozen green coffee. Now, as some of you might know, we've released an experiment about freezing a geisha coffee before. If you haven't read it, you can check out the link in the description below. And since then, we've been playing with freezing various kinds of coffees, and today we are going to share what we've learned about this process. Number 1, freeze according to your batch size. Now, coffee degrades at an accelerated pace once you take it out of the freezer. The quality of acidity seems to have the biggest drop among other taste aspects, so if you don't use the coffee quickly, you will experience a detrimental effect in your final cup. Now, freezing in your intended batch size allows you to defrost and use just what you need, so you don't have coffee sitting out unnecessarily and degrading while waiting for you to roast it. Number 2, vacuum seal. And this goes without saying, we don't want moisture affecting our coffee. In the case of freezing green coffee, this comes in the form of condensation when you first take the coffee out of the freezer. Vacuum sealing your green coffee will help to eliminate most of this problem. Number 3, defrost your coffee sufficiently. The ideal waiting period for defrosting your coffee is around 3 to 4 days. This allows your coffee to sufficiently return back to ambient temperature without the risk of condensation when you open the bag. Water activity within the bean will also return back to stable conditions. When you first freeze a coffee, most of the moisture within the coffee migrates from the outside towards the center, leaving the outer layer of the coffee drier and the inner bean wetter. You need to allow time for the moisture to migrate back to its prior state before roasting, or else you will risk having an unevenly roasted coffee if you roast too early. Now, if you vacuum seal in flat and thinner layers, you can probably get away with shorter waiting times, as the coffee can dissipate cold, absorb the heat energy from the ambient surroundings more efficiently because of the additional exposed surface area as compared to if it was sealed inside a thick block. Now, last but not least, freezing also alters the cellular structure of the coffee. That means you also need to roast it differently. We'll talk about how to adjust your roast for frozen coffee next week, so stay tuned for part 2. That's it for this week's Pro Tips. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want more Pro Tips like this, remember to click the subscribe button below, follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and we'll see you next week with part 2.